Sorry, you've just caught me having a quick cup of tea. None other than coconut tea. More about that just a little bit later. It's absolutely gorgeous. Well, a big welcome to the Travelling Bear with Stu Bear YouTube channel. And on today's show, this is what we've got coming up.
We're going to be looking at ways to make the bed a lot more comfortable. Wiring a couple of batteries up in parallel. We're going to be having a good look at the Carri Chef 2 and lots of different attachments. Connecting up a couple of solar panels. And important things to have underneath those wheels. Also, we're going to be looking at Safefill refillable batteries and one of these brilliant covers. Also, ways to be able to keep the flies out. We'll be meeting our fantastic Jasmine. And also looking on the outside. Are those awnings really worthwhile?
The handy little tip we have for you is, hey, sleep. I can sleep anywhere. That's what the wife says. But, hey, she always moans, oh, they're so uncomfortable. Because, there we go. That's what it comes with, yeah. And for some people, yeah, that'll be fine. But what we did, we got one of these mattress toppers. Okay, as you can see, it's an island bed. Okay, mattress topper. They're only about £125, something like that. I think we got this from Dunhelm, and they're available all over the place. Okay, when we first got it, it was the square size. So you think, oh, hey, that's no good. It's not a problem because see, they're in a little cover like this. I just took it out the cover and literally got a pair of scissors and just snipped the edges. It was as simple as that. Okay, it doesn't look absolutely 100% pretty there, but you don't see that anyway because we're going to put the duvet on and what have you, and hey, you won't notice these bits here. So great tip, and boy oh boy, for the price, it'll give you, hey, those you'll have sleep nights, not sleepless. You will sleep right the way through the night. Absolutely superb. One of the best things that we did, transform the bed. So that's another tip for you. There we go, all sorted, and mattress topper underneath. It does add just a little bit more weight, but hardly anything. So certainly recommend that. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, gracious, that is a high bed. Well, it certainly is, but never fear. This particular design, it's called EB. It's a Welcome 79 EB. Chaussons Welcome 79 EB. And what you can do, oh, if we can lift that, which we certainly can. Okay, under there you can see the garage section. Plenty of room, but what we have, let's see if we can actually show you this. There we go, little button there, and what that does, you press that, bed goes down, press that, bed goes up. When it does lift, it is pretty slow, but it's really handy for when you're traveling. Say if you've got a couple of bikes that you don't want to leave on the back of the vehicle that a lot of people have, or you want to put them in the garage section for safety, security and what have you. There we go, just gives you that extra bit of space. Lifts the bed up, and as you can probably see, it would go right down to there. That just another handy feature on this Chausson Welcome 79 EB. Coming up, loads more tips. Stay with the bear. A little bit later, we'll talk about solar panels. For the moment, though, we're going to have a quick chat about batteries. Okay? Now, a great idea. This is what I do anyway. Remember, batteries, they weigh a lot. Okay, so you can only really do this if your payload allows it. Okay. I tend to be off grid most of the time. Hiding underneath here are the main batteries that control the motorhome. But I like to have some auxiliary power as well for things like the laptop and other computers, that sort of thing. There's a reason for that, which I'll go into at another time. Very briefly though, what we're going to do is show you, hopefully, the correct way to be able to set up two batteries. So we've got two 120 amp hour batteries, as you can see. These are lead acid batteries. A lot of people are moving to the lithium. Lithium is still very, very, very expensive, so I still haven't gone over to those. But anyway, that's another story, another topic for another day. So what we've got at the moment, I'm currently powering them up because I'm going to be going away very, very soon in the camper van. So I'm actually on power, so I'm charging them up. Now, as you can see, we have these wired up. One battery, number two. Okay, the most important thing is with the batteries, they have to be identical. So when you're buying these, yeah, get two. Okay, then I like to have the extra connectors. The reason for that is just to make it easy for me to be able to put a cable across there. Make sure they are really high powered cables, okay, because a lot of current can go through these. There's your live terminal. So you have obviously the red cable, live to live. Another good idea would be to put a little bit of red insulation tape across that side and maybe black that side, because it is absolutely critical. It's the most important thing to make sure you never get those connections wrong, especially if you've got two batteries. Okay, so most importantly, you've got the red going to the red. Okay, in other words, positive to positive. On the other side, good thick cable again, got these from Halfords. You have negative to negative. What that now gives you is pretty much double the power. So 120 amp hours, hey, we could be getting up to about 200 and maybe 240, maybe 220, whatever. I don't know the exact. But anyway, that's the theory of it. But most importantly, okay, we're going to talk about solar panels at another time. But for the moment, just imagine if you were going to use a solar panel to keep these nicely topped up. It is absolutely important that you put one, say your positive that side, okay, and the negative on the other battery, okay. If you put them, say your positive that one and the negative on that one, even though you're thinking, oh well, they're wired up together, no, you must make sure that the current goes in across the two. Okay, so is that simple enough? There we have it. Okay, you'd have your positive on one battery and negative for charging on the other, and exactly the same principle for when you are actually using these batteries. So whether you've got them wired up permanently to your motorhome, or you use them for auxiliary purpose, such as you've got crocodile clips, say on this one. Okay, never have them going from the same battery again. So what you would do, you would have on the output going out to say do your laptop or anything else that you have, okay, probably using an inverter, so you've got 240 volts. You'd have the output one on this one and the output one on that one. Okay, I hope that's straightforward enough. It sounds straightforward to me, but I have learnt in the past that if you do get it wrong, like you think, oh hey, yeah, well, I've done the parallel, that they're actually working now, yeah, I've got that, and in the past I've took it all off the one battery, which is not what you do, because it'll kill the other battery. It'll the current the drain will be going more from one than the other. I hope that makes sense. You can also see ticking away just there, that is the solar panel which is on top of the motorhome. Okay, now the reason why I have these extras, because I go away doing lots of filming, and yeah, it's pretty much a cheap way of doing it, or cheaper. Okay, some people, another little thing to tell you, have their solar panels automatically wired in to the control unit. Let's go through to the motorhome. I'll show you what you mean. This is a Shosson motorhome. Now, in the instructions and everything else for the motorhome, there is an option to be able to have solar panels going straight through to your box just here. I haven't gone for that at all. Couple of reasons being, through the winter time, I don't want this control panel switched on. Okay, or whenever it's left for a certain length of time, I want that totally switched off. But I still want my internal batteries being charged up, and that's the reason why we have it out in, as you just saw, with those batteries that are hidden away with the little control panel, because they are keeping the batteries topped up all the way through, say, the seasons when you're not using the motorhome, because that's when they're going to die. That's when your batteries, especially lead acid batteries, they are going to fail. Why do I do that? Well, if you just come over here, on this motorhome we have what's called the Webasto system. Okay, it's not switched on at the moment. There we go. This, as you can see at the moment, I've got to get a new one of these because the panel is only showing half. It's a fault that they have every now and again. But anyway, that's another story. The reason that, let's go back outside. The reason through the off months, as I was calling it earlier, that I use this sort of system to keep, remember, not these batteries, we're not talking about these are the auxiliary ones that I have. Inside there are the main batteries that are tucked away, wired up, very, very similar, but all the way through the winter time they will keep on charging. But the control panel is not switched on because this is where we're leading to. If the control panel was switched on and then the solar was going to these batteries only via the control panel, that would mean that the Webasto heating system would be active all the time. Now, is that a problem? It certainly is, because what would happen when the temperature drops below, I think it's something like 6 degrees, what happens is the Webasto system, it just dumps the water. Okay, so what you don't want through the winter is for that dump valve just to keep switching on and off, which is what would happen if the control panel was left on. So that's what I do. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, I don't know. But there we go. That's another little tip from, of course, Stu Bear. Stay with us. We've got more coming. Ah, they're pretty flowers, aren't they? Hey, well, moving along, we're going to talk about one of my favourite subjects, and that's food and cooking in particular, and a couple of things that I would recommend. So I use what's called a Cadac. You can see it, Cadac Carri Chef 2. At the moment, it's all in bits, bit like me. But we're going to put that together in just a second, and also we'll talk about the all important gas bottles. I use these things called Safefill. So we'll get to the Safefill as well just a little bit later. But let's put this Cadac together. As you can see, it looks a little bit rusty, but hey, it still works great. I've had this for 11 years, and for me, one of the best things that you can get. I don't like cooking inside the motorhome for various reasons, mainly because I don't like the smell of fried breakfasts, but hey, when it's outside it smells totally different. But stay with us, let's put this together. So there we have it, the Cadac Carri Chef 2. Great piece of kit. And right now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I don't need something that big. It's only me, or it's only the two of us. I promise you, make sure you get this particular one, because they do make smaller ones, providing you've got room to be able to put it into the garage section or whatever. And it all folds up, as you saw, very small. But unlike mine, which is 11 years old now, I've lost the bag that it all comes in, but it all comes down and it all fits inside a bag, so very neatly folds away, and it can go in the garage section of the motorhome. Or in our case, having the high bed when we travel, I just keep it connected. Then when I get somewhere, just take it out like that, connect the Safefill battery, connect the Safefill gas canister, which we will be looking at Safefill just a little bit later. Simple as that. But don't skimp. I promise you, get the full size one. The frying pan is absolutely brilliant. You can see, yeah, you could cook a huge breakfast for about 10 people on that. But yeah, yes, you're probably thinking, hey, I don't need it that big. You would regret it, I promise you. Hey, I go away just on my own quite a bit. Well, my own, in myself and Jasmine, our little dog. But don't skimp. Get the full sized one. I promise you, you won't regret it, because you can put all these extras on. As you saw, we had a pizza stone. The one over here, as you can see right now in the middle, that a roasting tin, so you could do a roast on it. I do chips in that, and it does them better than anything else. And probably one of my favorite, you can see it's quite old, this is now. At some point I may get a new one, but there we go, the fantastic grill plate. And the beauty of this is the heat is immense. It gets up to such a high temperature, and that's the key when you're cooking. It's high temperature. So I promise you, with this setup, you'll have the best steaks you've ever had, the best burgers, whatever. If you're using that, it's superb. Also, because of the high heat, what I use a lot, trying to be a little bit more healthy, is on the actual we'll call it the frying pan, okay, but on that I put a little bit of coconut oil in. I just love coconut. Oh, I've got to think about it. I even have coconut tea. But anyway, you know these little packets of supposed to be microwave rice, yeah, you put it in the microwave. I've not got a microwave when I go out and about. Some of you may, but because of the high heat that is generated from it, I just put it in there with the coconut oil, and hey, with a few extra bits and bobs, you end up with the best fried rice you've tasted. I can promise you. Hey, look, I don't get a commission from any of this, I can assure you. But there we go. I thought I would, as usual, share my experiences. Cadac Carri Chef 2, certainly. A little earlier, we were talking about solar panels, and I showed you how to connect them up via the batteries, the best way to make sure that each battery drains as it should, rather than taking the power all from one. Okay, solar panels. These days, look at this, hey, I've had this for years and it's still going strong. The best is, it's flexible. It's light as a feather, okay? On the backs, you can see how thin they are. The only thing I don't like about this particular one, if you were going to fix it permanently onto your van, it's got that connector there. But hey, I'm sure there'd be some way of fixing that. But what I use these for, because on top of the motorhome, I've got one of these permanent fixed solar panels. But of course, hey, if you're building your own, you could use some of these. This other one, because I've got two, these are my portables, and when I'm on a site that I'm happy with the security and what have you, I will use these to charge up those auxiliary batteries that we were looking at earlier. And you can just wire these up, which is you're thinking, oh, how can I wire them? How do you do all this? Okay, a couple of important things. Now what I'm going to show you now is a work in progress. Okay, so it's a bit ad hoc at the moment, bit here's Robin, but stay with us. What I'm going to be doing very, very soon, and I'll do videos for this as well, is putting all of this onto a fixed board with fuses and all sorts of things. But just for the moment, because this was just thrown together, okay, so please excuse me for that. What you need when you're using solar panels, you've got to have a regulator. That is critical, because once you start connecting solar panels up, they certainly go over the 12 volts, okay, probably 20 plus volts, maybe even more if you start doubling them up. Okay, now we're not going to connect these up in series. We're going to use what's called parallel. So there, as you can see, there's your charge unit. Okay, now they connect in there. As I said, it's not perfect this. I'm going to do a much better system, but it will give you the idea of what we are doing. So coming from it, positive, negative connectors, okay, they go on the batteries, okay, one on one battery and one on the other. Remember, like we were telling you earlier, that's really important. Okay, don't put them both on the same battery if you've got two batteries running together in parallel. Now, for connecting these up, you can buy these rather nifty, and the link for these will be under the video. These rather nifty little connectors, okay? And as you can see, you've got two there, okay, going in to one. That will go into the charge controller that you just saw a moment ago, okay, and coming from it you've got two connectors. Okay, so you've got one of these, let me just show you, would go into there. Then you've got another set which is the negative. Okay, so that one, okay, all coming from this one would go in there. Simple as that. You'd get your other solar panel. We'll just bring that a little bit closer. And here we go. From the other solar panel, that would go in there, and the other one in there. So in other words, two solar panels connected up together. And of course, these little, let's take that out, what you buy, okay? So these are your connectors. As you just saw, you've got the two, but if you were really jazzy and you say you had 3 solar panels, you can buy these with 3 or 4. So there you go, simple as that end goes to the charge controller, and these are for the solar panels. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, I think that does. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, any questions, please ask. There we go. There's our little Tabitha, very, very interested as to what's going on. There we go. Follow me all around the garden. Yes. Saying hello to everybody. Okay, let's carry on and show you a couple of other useful items that I carry around. These Malenko, it says on them, and what these are for, I'm sure you know already. Literally, when I go on a campsite, if the ground is looking a little bit soft or looks like rain could be in the air for that particular week, I will put the motorhome wheels underneath these, yeah, with the wheels literally right about there. You can see where my foot is, okay? And then that would give you just that little bit of extra runoff with the grip, because of course, as you know, it's when you first start off with a motorhome that the front wheels can dig down, because there's such a weight, the motorhomes, they really sink into the ground. So there we go, I got myself 4 of those, and they may save you. I've also got several others as well, different types, just in case I'm really stuck and I need extra. Okay, while we're talking about things to go underneath the wheels, these are very handy. Also made by Malenko. They're called a 333, and as I'm sure you can see, they've got little step ups. Okay, so I normally sorry, that was the cat again. I normally put these quite often on the, say, the front wheels. Okay, couple of important things to tell you about these. When you're using them, remember, this is all my information, okay? It may be right, it may be wrong, but it's what I've discovered through the years of motorhoming. Now, as you drive onto these, if you can imagine, sort of drive on that way, okay? Go forwards on them. All right, it's always handy if you've got somebody with you to make sure that you don't go off the edge. Whatever you do, do not even risk going off the edge, because all sorts of things could happen if you went off the edge. Of course, it's a big drop for the front wheels, for example, but it could also fly up like that and cause untold damage underneath. Okay, but what I've always found is, don't reverse onto them. Okay, so just imagine this scenario. Okay, you've got them set up like that. Yeah, if you were you thought, okay, yeah, that's okay, it's fine, I'll reverse the motorhome onto them. Okay, so you've reversed up, okay, and you've got your height. Okay, because of the your movement of the wheels, when you drive off, it's quite possible that they, as you drive off, could fly off and again hit something underneath the motorhome. You know, you could have say, I don't know, it could rupture a pipe or anything. In fact, I saw a video of that just the other day. Someone was on a campsite, drove off, and that's exactly what happened. So just a little bit of caution, okay? I wouldn't reverse onto them, I'd always drive onto them. And if you're on a camping site, which a lot are uneven, you'll probably have one on the front, one on the back. Yeah, it just all depends how the slope is. Okay, so that covers those. We'll be back with more tips in just a moment. So we've got our Cadac Carri Chef 2 all set up, all running. Of course, it runs off gas, so you're going to need a bottle of gas. Now, hey, these days, colour, we know the price of colour. They are really expensive. Not just to actually buy the refillables and the actual bottles, but when you first purchase them, you have to pay a deposit. Now, I think there's something like about £35 for the replacement. Yeah, when you take it down to your store, they give you another bottle, and I think it's about £35, something like that, for the is it the 6 kilogram one? You'll be able to tell me for sure. But anyway, but it's not just that. When you first purchase the bottle, you have to pay a deposit, and that's normally, say, another £35. So let's say, for instance, that's £70, okay, for when you first start out. These bottles, they're called Safefill, and when I got mine, I think they're still pretty much the same sort of price. They're about 160 odd pounds, 170, whatever. I've got links to Safefill under the video. Now, the advantage of these, as you could probably imagine, because it's called Safefill, is that they are refillable bottles. In other words, you can fill these yourself from various outputs. In the past, lots of petrol stations used to have these, they used to use the auto gas, and that's what's in these. It's propane, which is what auto gas is. So a few years ago, you could just pull up at the petrol station, providing there weren't have certain rules, because never ever fill a Cadac bottle. It's totally illegal and so dangerous. But these are called Safefill for a reason, because inside, I mean, I'm not 100% sure of the actual workings, but if you can imagine something like on your toilet, you've got a valve that shuts off, yeah, something I believe is similar in these. So it's got a shut off valve. In other words, when it gets to 80%, it cuts off. Okay, so you can never overfill these bottles, hence the name Safefill. They're easy enough to actually fill up. You go to somewhere. Most, as I said, a lot of garages used to do it. They're getting few and far between nowadays, but there is still some about. There's a very handy app that you can get on your phone, or go to the website of Safefill, and it will show you a map of all the locations where they still allow you to either pull up to the forecourt. And also there's various gas distributors. I know we're in the Midlands, and there's one in Loughborough, but anyway, that's a story for another day. And it's simple as, well, we'll make sure the gas is switched off. We'll just, you take this off. If I turn it the right way, just remember that with plumbing, it's you know the saying, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Well, with plumbing, usually it's the other way around. So we're going clockwise to undo it. Okay, so there's your regulator, and which is obviously what you need, a propane regulator. Okay, let's have a look down here at the actual bottle. So you see on here, it has these little lugs either side. Okay, now you won't have those on your Cadac gas bottles, but some rather naughty people in the past, we'll call them naughty, yes, have bought adapters to convert their bottles so that they can refill them. As I said, that is highly illegal and really, really dangerous. But with these, with that shut off valve, you've not got a problem. They're rather clumsy, the when you put these things on. It's I can't really do a video of these, because obviously when there's gas about, they don't like you going around with a camera. But anyway, they go on there, they twist round, and then once you've done that, you lift an arm up on the actual refilling machine. You switch this to on, which obviously I'm not going to do now because the gas will just come out, and then you literally press a button and it fills up with gas. And the great thing about it is, instead of costing you £35, a bottle of this size will cost you around about £8 to fill up. So it's a lot cheaper. I think at the moment it's about 90 pence, 99 pence a litre, round about that sort of figure. If you go to say France, they don't like you filling these really, but don't tell anybody. I've filled them before. I normally go to a supermarket or something like that when there's hardly anybody about on a Sunday morning, and fill them up then. I have filled them up from petrol stations in France. In France there is a lot more use of LPG, which is what it's known as, liquid petroleum gas. There's a lot more places. Most, especially as you're going along the toll roads, most of these service stations have LPG, and hey, you just fill the bottles up. Saved me a fortune. Remember, a lot of people They say, oh yeah, I'm not paying all that money. Hey, you've got to pay £70 anyway for the colour in the first instance. So there we go. That's my thoughts. I don't know what you think, but hey, I hope it gives you an idea. Here's a very handy little item. It's huge, isn't it? But don't worry, it all folds up rather neatly into a little bag. So what on earth is it? Well, it's certainly not an awning. What it is, it's a cover that goes over the front of the motorhome, and these are superb, especially if you're going around in the colder months. It'll certainly make a big difference, and I will tell you why. Just think of this scenario. How many times have you've been in your car, for example, and within just a few minutes, your window, you're just breathing, yeah, and in no time at all the windows are really steamed up. Not that I stay in my car and just sit in there very often. I don't want you getting the wrong idea, but hey, put that on a larger scale, okay, in a motorhome. Bigger windows, okay, there's more space for the air to go around, but when you're, say, boiling a kettle or whatever, or just breathing, or with the heating on, what happens is it creates condensation, and on the front and side windows of the motorhome in no time at all. Well, for example, overnight, you go to those windows, if it's been a cold night, your windows will be saturated. They'll be absolutely covered in water on the inside from the condensation. Put these on, and it cuts down all of that condensation. Now, I'm not just saying that. It is. I thought, no, it can't work that well. 100%. They are amazing. Now, there's lots of different types of these. Okay, Aldi do them every now and again for about £70. Don't waste your money. They're absolute rubbish. All they will do is possibly keep your motorhome cooler in the summer months, because dual purpose with these, keep the van cool, but for the actual colder months, to stop the condensation, these are superb. I don't know whether this video can do it justice, but honestly it feels almost like a bit like an extra blanket, and that's really what you're doing, putting an extra blanket on the windows. What we'll do a quick video and show you how easy it is, I hope, fingers crossed, to put it on to the front windows. Stay with us. Well, that seems easy enough, doesn't it? Let me just show you a little bit more, because the video probably didn't pick up the side bits. If you go for this particular type, we'll tell you the make in a moment, but if you've got these sort of blinds, you have to quote that you've got these Remus blinds. Okay, but literally flips over the corner of the door. Also, obviously, tell them what type of vehicle. They do all sorts. That's the make. Hope you can see that. There's the phone number. Again, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but these are just all things that I actually think are rather handy. Okay, when you go round the wing mirrors, just go like that. You just open the wing mirrors up, and then, if we can see that, there's a little bit of Velcro. Put the Velcro there. You can get some which go even further down, covering all of this section. I just went for the ones that cover the window. There we go. Bit of Velcro. There we go. Hope you can see that. Here we go. And within a couple of seconds, there you are, and that will stop the horrible condensation. And this, you don't want that, because all that water, and I believe you me, throughout a cold night when you've got your heating going inside, the next morning the amount of water that's come down is huge, and you've got to wipe all that off. But also it's probably causing damage. Electrics and water, as we all know, they certainly don't mix. So there we go, that's the particular type you are looking for. tailormadecovers.co.uk, www.tailormade-covers.co.uk. check them out. I'm going to have to redo these as well. I've also got a video out there about how to keep these lovely and black. See, needs doing again. Every few months I just do those. Right, I hope that covers that section for you, and I hope it's another handy tip from Stu Bear right here on the Travelling Bear. Oh, have you ever been away and you've got the problem of flies? Oh, I went onto one site once and there were literally millions of flies. It was before I was doing the video. I can tell you, if I'd have had that on video, I could make a horror story out of it. I tell you what, Frankenstein and Dracula would be nothing compared to that awful site we were on. But there's a very quick funny story about it. We went to this campsite. I'm not going to name and shame, but it was in Wymondon. And it was a pig farm. I didn't know when I booked it it was a pig farm. A beautiful site, absolutely superb, and I'm sure most of the time it's really lovely. But when we got there I thought, that's a bit of a funny smell. And when you booked it, you had to book it in advance. In other words, you had to pay for all your nights. So we paid like for 5 nights, and hey, after the first night we wanted to get the hell out of there. It wasn't their fault, I suppose, because there was a million flies. They had this big infestation, but I suppose being a pig farm doesn't help. Doesn't say anything about that in the all about it. Okay, so what's this all about? I'm all for saving a few quid, like we all are. Okay, and these really do help. I bought this separately off Amazon, and I'll put a link to one of these as well. But I thought to myself, well, I don't want a permanent fixture all the time, because you only need this as is and when, okay, through the summer months. Maybe if you're going to Scotland, I don't know, wherever there's a fly problem. Hasn't been too bad where I've been this year, so I've not used them much. But anyway, cut a long story short, which I certainly will do. Okay, what I used, so it comes with this section here and a couple of little ties there. Didn't want to make it permanent, as I said. So what I've done on this, you'd have to adapt this style to whatever motorhome you have. But what this is, it's a shower rail, yeah, which is all different sizes. So you just unscrew that little section there, expands, or when you want to take it down, make it smaller, or to fit whatever area you sort of want. But works a treat here, and yeah, it stops the flies. There we go, another handy little tip for this type of motorhome. But stay with us, more coming. So then, Jasmine, what else can we tell these good people? Well, let's move across and have a look at the fridge and freezer. Let's on this particular one. There we go, we're stocked up. Well, getting stocked up. I'll be getting a lot more than that before we actually go away. But it's just haven't got anything in the fridge right now. But, what I've got here, it was just something I hadn't knocked it around. I just put that in there just to be able to keep the temperature checked, and it's saying 1 degree, so it's certainly cool in here. Okay. With the fridge, what we have is all the different settings. It's currently set to electric. You've got the gas, so it'll run off your gas bottles. That one, obviously, for when that with the battery, when it's, because it says battery, don't get confused thinking it will run off your normal battery. It'll only run off the vehicle battery when it's running, okay, because you've got your alternator going, and of course that's generating lots of electricity. But as soon as you switch the engine off, you'll just hear it going beep beep beep, and that's because it will not run. So don't get confused, because it's got a battery icon. It does not work off 12 volts, only when the actual vehicle engine is running. And further across, okay, you've got a setting there that says auto, and yeah, if you've got that selected, it will just go to whichever one it thinks. So if it loses power, if you're on the 240 volts, it'll automatically go across to gas and anything else. That is a little button to be able to heat these elements at the back here, because if you have a look, can you, I don't know if it's picking it up, but you can see water dripping down. Okay, that's because I've just opened the door, and in no time at all, see the temperature starting to go up. Okay, they stay cool. This is the fridge section. Okay, next one along, that is the settings for the actual fridge. How cold it's going to be. In other words, the freezer will stay the same. It's to do with this. Normally when I'm on gas, to save the gas, 2 bars there is absolutely perfect for this country. Okay, if you're say in the south of France or Spain or wherever, you'll have to have it further across. Okay, and so as we're on electric, we're not worried about the power. There we go, it's buzzing because I've got the door open, and it's saying, hey, this has been open for too long, you need to shut the door because it's going to cool down, which it is doing. That one, that's a little button you press if all else fails and you have a bit of a problem. Okay, that's putting it pretty basic. And what I do, okay, when I'm traveling around, in case the temperature drops, or when, see, look, the water dripping down here, there's a drip tray. Okay, what I've discovered over the years is I just put a cloth just in there again. Okay, you see I've got so many tea towels that I use, but they all come in handy. I put that there when I'm traveling for when yeah, it is condensation, when it drops down, and it just collects the water, because the water will build up, and as you're traveling, it'll drop over there, and before you know it, when you get somewhere, you'll go, what's all the water on the floor? That's what it is. Okay, so just a little tip for you. Let me double check. Okay, yes, we're on 12 volts and we've got full power. We'll shut that, and the little light will stop flashing. Also, when you load these up, try not to, I mean, you can see, look, I've repaired that and what have you over the years. I found, don't put too much weight in there, because what can happen, it can, as you're driving along, it's happened to me several times, the door has suddenly flung open, and like, or if it doesn't completely open, you hear that beep 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 noise because it's slightly ajar. Okay, so above here we've got the little tiny, yeah, it's a grill, isn't it, hey? But there's a grill, and also it doubles up as a little tiny cooker. I use it a little bit, and the wife mainly uses it for toast, things like that. But as we mentioned, or we are going to mention, I do most of the cooking outside, and you can probably see it all there, all set up is on the Cadac Carri Chef 2, and we're going to explore and find out all about that in just a moment. Okay, remember, everything that I tell you here, it's all my own opinions, and hey, I'm not saying these are right, I'm not saying they're wrong, it's just what we've found out over the years, many years of traveling around, and there's much more experienced people than my good self. I'm learning all the time, but my little tiny bit of knowledge, hopefully it will help some of you guys.
Hi, it's Stu Bear from the Travelling Bear YouTube channel, and as a big thanks for everybody watching the videos and subscribing, we've got a great offer for you. It's from the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company, and for all you great viewers, you can get 15% off every single order. All you need to do is just at the checkout use the code, and that code is CAMPING, CAMPING. It's all uppercase, and the link is underneath the video right now. So enjoy the tea and keep on enjoying watching Traveling Bear with Stu Bear. Welcome along to our brand new YouTube channel, The Traveling Bear with Stu Bear. We'll be taking you to some amazing locations while we travel around. We have scenic videos with relaxing music, cycling adventures, camping locations, and some great documentaries, plus lots more. So join us on the Traveling Bear with Stu Bear YouTube channel and subscribe for free right now.